Nice. Okay. Hi people, we've got an awesome guy here, Mr. Aaron, and he's super duper awesome. And we were just traveling and having fun, and suddenly we saw him. He was sleeping and having fun, and it was so cool to capture him at this spot. So Aaron, can you say briefly about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Aaron. My family and I moved to Bishkek 6 months ago, and we would love to start a tourism company here that gets foreigners to come and enjoy the natural beauty of Kyrgyzstan.
Awesome. Can you share about your hobbies?
Yeah, so I love hammocking. This is called a hammock, where you can basically find any two trees or even off my van to one tree. You can hang out and enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, talk to a friend, or enjoy the nature. I like to whitewater raft. I like to ski, and what else do I like doing? You can cut this out, right?
Yeah, we can cut this out. Of course.
Yeah, those are my hobbies.
Awesome. By the way, can you show us the van?
Yeah. You want me to show you?
No, you can just relax. This is the van.
So that's an Uaz Buhanka, or Uaz 452, and we've converted it to be able to live inside of it, so you can sleep and you can cook and you can drive and haul a bunch of stuff if you need to. Right now I'm carrying, usually carrying my kids in it, but we love it. It's such a good car for what we want to do in Kyrgyzstan.
Awesome. Maybe you can share the state that you're from, your city.
Yeah. We're from North Carolina. I'm from a tiny town in North Carolina, but most recently we came from Durham.
Awesome.
North Carolina.
Awesome. Tell us your story of your tattoos.
Yeah. So this is a tattoo that I got in Durham. You can see like the trees and the nature. I have a son named Bear, so that's a bear, and a daughter named River, so that's a river.
Nice.
And so I got it to kind of commemorate them. And then this is also from a book that I really like to read that talks about children being like arrows in the hands of a warrior. And so I got that for them. We also lost a child early on in my wife's pregnancy, so that one's broken just to honor that child that God gave us.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So tell us a little bit about your wife, how you discovered her.
So we met in West Africa, Senegal, West Africa, and we were there for about a year teaching students what it means to know and follow God. So we got to know each other really well. We played a bunch of cards. We traveled a good bit and got to know each other really, really well. And then when we got back to the States, started dating and got engaged and got married pretty quickly. So I knew she was the one.
That's awesome. Would you share some reasons why you chose Kyrgyzstan, and why would a tourist like you choose Kyrgyzstan?
Look at all this. Just look at how beautiful it is, how peaceful it is. The mountains are beautiful. We love how much access we have to the mountains. I don't know of another place in the entire world that I can just come and stop anywhere I want to, pretty much in the whole country, and I don't need anybody's permission to be there, as long as it's not a military installation. And I can just set up my camp, stop my car, let my kids play, set up a hammock. You can do that pretty much anywhere in this country. We were recently up at Songkul, which is one of the most beautiful lakes we've ever seen, as well as the mountains all around it. And so, yeah, we love the access and the beautiful nature that we find here.
That's wonderful. And let's imagine you are the Minister of Tourism. And what would you do specifically to make Kyrgyzstan more attractive and delicious for tourists?
It's a tough one, Aman. Well, number one, I would open the airports Can I say that?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Number one, I would open the airports and get COVID tests for passengers that want to come in to experience this country and this beauty and this culture. We love how hospitable Kyrgyz people have been to us, inviting us in their homes, feeding us lots of meals. We think that, well, hopefully the coronavirus epidemic will be done soon. And I guess if I was the Minister of Tourism, I would make it as easy as possible for tourists from abroad to come here.
That's wonderful. That's great. Maybe tell us a bit about your truck. Maybe we can walk and you can show
Yep.
how much it costed, what tourists can do.
Yeah. So, let me think. How much did I pay for that car? So, I think it was about $7,000 US, which
Cool.
isn't too much. The other options are, you know, big Land Cruisers that are $20,000, $30,000, but this is four-wheel drive. It'll go anywhere pretty much in this country. It has, you know, it's not fast, but you know, we love Kyrgyzstan so much we wanted to honor it by putting the tunduk with the sun. So this is the top of a yurt. So this is what the top of a yurt looks like, and then the sun representing the 40 tribes of Kyrgyzstan. So we put that on the side to show that we love Kyrgyzstan.
Nice.
It's kind of hard to get into a little bit, but you get used to it. Like I said, it's not a modern driving experience, but it's unique, and we like that.
Nice.
Roof rack on the top that you can access by the ladder, and then, like I said, in the back you can convert it into a sleeping area. You just have to take those baby seats out.
Nice.
And put these guys down. You can also put these up here, sleep out in the wild, which is what I plan to do tonight.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's kind of an all-around all-purpose vehicle.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah,
That is cool.
that's us. Oh,
Nice,
and we
nice.
also put the kind of the Kyrgyz, what are those called?
Decoration.
Shirdak?
Shirdak?
Yeah, Shirdak looking
Yeah.
stuff on the top. This is cheap Chinese.
Nice.
That's not actual Shirdak, but
Nice.
yeah. Keep
That
our
is
hiking
cool.
boots ready for
Nice.
adventures.
Nice. Nice.
Also my kids, wife and kids boots back here.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's my
That
car.
is wonderful car,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Appreciate it.
Congrats. That's cool.
Yep. Oh, you gotta have your tools in the back as well. In case of emergency, you've got your triangle, your spare tire things, your chocks to put under your tires, your jack to change tires. Got all
Nice.
sorts of stuff in there.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. That is great. So, what were your first impressions of Kyrgyzstan when you just arrived?
Yeah, so I remember flying in from the west. They had like looped around, I guess, but I remember flying in from the west and just seeing all these beautiful mountains to our south. I remember seeing those out the window and thinking, wow, we don't have anything like that in America. And this is just like kind of scratching the surface of the beauty of Kyrgyzstan. But I remember landing and getting off the plane and immediately being greeted by airport professionals. And they looked at my passport and said, "First time to Kyrgyzstan?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he smiled, and he was like, "Welcome," as he stamped it. And so that was just a really nice first encounter with Kyrgyz people. And it has only been supported through my subsequent encounters with like local people that we live beside, our neighbors, and like whenever we go travel out to Issyk or Songkul or wherever we go, people are always incredibly nice and hospitable. So
Awesome. And would you share some basic words you have learned in Kyrgyz? Let's practice some Kyrgyz. Let's imagine that I'm Kyrgyz.
All right.
And we talk.
Salam bayki.
Salamatsız mı?
Kandaysız, жақсы.
Sonun.
Den suluğunuz kanday?
Densoluk abdan şükür.
Abdan şükür. Alhamdulillah. Sizler Kırgızsız mı?
Ова, мен нукура Kırgız bala.
Kırgız bala. Sen ayal var mı?
Менде аял жок, бирок каалайм.
Kalayım kanday.
Мен абдан каалайм.
Sen sen kandayın satıp alasın mı?
мен келечекте сатып алам.
All right, I'm just messing with you now.
That's awesome. Wow, your Kyrgyz is great, man.
No, it's terrible.
That's
It's
good.
terrible.
That's very good, and I think it's good for the start, man.
Well, yeah, that's all it is as a start right now.
Great.
That's all it is.
That's wonderful.
So,
How about the things you learned about Kyrgyz tradition? What you found interesting? What you found useful?
yeah. What have I found useful?
Or
Well,
good? Maybe you can talk about good sides
yeah.
and sides to develop.
So one of the things that we learned most recently is if you like eat too much or you eat the wrong food, a Kyrgyz lady told us that you have to eat carrots and cabbage, and you won't have like indigestion, or it won't like bubble up inside of you, and that really did work. We've never heard that before, and we really love that. Oh, also my wife got stung by a bee on her leg, and some Kyrgyz people told us to cut a tomato in half and put salt on it and put the tomato right there, and it would take the pain away, and it did the same thing. It really worked. And again, we'd never heard of anything like that before. So like little Kyrgyz like tricks of the trade, we've picked up, and we love that. But I don't know, maybe some of the harder things is you can cut all this out, but like some of the harder things are like the prevalence of alcohol and how that keeps men away from their families, and how men especially have a pretty fractured relationship with their kids, and even their wives, and how prevalent divorce is. We really hope and pray that one day Kyrgyz fathers will love their wives, honor their wives, enjoy their children, play with their children, and be good fathers to them. So that's probably the hardest thing about Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe you can share some of your interesting experiences, little stories that has happened, things that come first to your mind.
Well, just 2 days ago, I went to Comfort Bazaar and Comfort Magazine, and we were looking for some epoxy to like put some plastic back together. And I walked into a store and started talking to the attendant, or maybe even the owner of the store, but I was greeting him in Kyrgyz, talking to him in Kyrgyz, asked him about the epoxy stuff, and decided to go ahead and buy it, and asked him how much it is, kancha son, and he was like, you know what, because you speak Kyrgyz, this is a gift for you. And I was like, oh wow, like that's not the first time that's happened. Like that happens fairly regularly, especially with small things. Like people just really appreciate me learning Kyrgyz and wanting to know their culture and know their history. So that happens pretty often. I guess another story would be when we went out to Issyk, one of my friend's battery was dead, and we had to switch out batteries with a local Kyrgyz person to get it started, and we were explaining as good as we could in Kyrgyz language, but it wasn't making sense, and so I was like, just trust me for 5 minutes. Just trust me for 5 minutes. I promise I won't break your car. and I switched the batteries out, got the car that had a dead battery started, and then switched the batteries back. And then he understood like why I needed a battery to get into town. So anyway, little stories like that where people are just super friendly and kind and hospitable. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. Maybe movies, songs, and books to recommend for your audience.
Oh man, movies, songs. Let me think about this. Wow. Movies, songs. Okay, so some of my favorite movies are like Inception and Interstellar and the Bourne trilogy. So Bourne Identity, Bourne Ultimatum, and Bourne something else. The second one. And then books. Let's see. I just finished one book of a trilogy by a guy named Jack Carr. It's called Terminal List. So he's got Terminal List, True Believer, and Savage Son that just came out. Those are really good books. I don't read. I listen to audiobooks, so it's kind of the same, right? Like you listen to audiobooks, you kind of read. But I do watch all of my movies with subtitles. So I read movies and I listen to books, if that makes sense.
That's wonderful, man. Great decision.
So yeah, those are some of the things that I've recently been enjoying.
Great. How about the songs? Do you listen to songs?
I don't really. My wife and I love Josh Garrels. I can't really think of any of his
What do you
songs,
think about
but
Kyrgyz music, Kyrgyz culture?
Yeah. It's a really rich musical history and culture. I am not musically inclined. Like I can't play. Like I think I'm tone deaf, so like music doesn't make sense to me. But it is really beautiful. My favorite Kyrgyz instrument is the ozkumuz, the one that is played by the mouth, and it makes these really crazy noises that I've never really heard out of any other instrument. I think there are other cultures that have it. Like I think Jewish culture has it, but it's called a mouth harp or something like that. But here in Kyrgyzstan, I think it's even a little bit different, the ozkumuz. So
That's awesome, man. Super
Yeah.
cool. How about you? How are you on time?
yeah, well, I'm planning on being out here for a little while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Totally.
losing your piece for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
it was
so-
fun.
so
It was
cool.
a good surprise to see you.
Yeah,
Omar.
and by the way, maybe we can meet you again with our prepared camera, without the memory card being lost.
Way to go, Omar.
Yeah, way to go. Exactly.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Awesome. See you.
See ya.
See you, bro. Just a minute. Yeah. Great.